Hello, good morning guys. Welcome back to our synchronous modality in mathematics grade 9. So we're still in the third quarter of this school year and we are now in week 4 and we are currently making use of module number 4 entitled Proportion and Similarity of Figures. Within this video lesson, we are to achieve the following objectives. First objective is to describe a proportion and apply fundamental theorems of proportionality to solve problems involving proportions. And the second objective is to illustrate similarity of figures and solve for the missing angles and sides of similar figures. So to start up with this video lesson, we have lesson number 1 on fundamental rules of proportion. So we have a preliminary activity that is for us to identify the similarity of two figures. Okay, you have there a figure of Winnie the Pooh, a bigger scale and a smaller scale. So what are we going to do with this activity? So you have there a bigger picture and a smaller picture. So obviously they differ in size, but their they have a common picture, no? Poo, but their size really differs. So the first bigger picture have a length of 30 centimeters and a width of 15 centimeters, while the smaller pictures or smaller scale have a 20 centimeter length and an X centimeter width. So how are we going to find the measurement of Winnie the Pooh's head on a smaller scale? Can we just make any estimation of its measurement, or it needs algebraic manipulation in order to solve it? So let's find out the answer as we move on to the next part of this module. So first, we will have a definition of terms. Okay, that one. Proportion. Since we talked about proportion a while ago, we relate proportion to the figures that we have seen on the previous slide on Winnie the Pooh. So proportion refers to the equality of two ratios, which in symbols A is to B is equal to C is to D. That can be written as in fractional form A over B is equal to C over D. So if we are to relate this one back to the two figures a while ago, the length of Winnie the Pooh's body over its width, the measurement of its head, over to the measurement of the length of his body and the width of his head on a smaller scale. So at least there are two comparisons. Okay. So these two comparison of their measurements is or can be solved using proportion. And proportion is defined as the equality of two ratios, which involves the means and the extremes. So also pasabot aning means of extremes di ay sir. So when you say means, that is the iyahang inner na product, which is B and C, while the extremes are the outer product represented by A and D. On the right side, this one, mura siyang scientific symbol, no? Pero actually, that is the short symbolism of cross multiplication. That means A times D, which is the product of the extremes, while B times C is the product of the means. So therefore, when the two cross product of the means and extremes are equal, so therefore ang proportion is being established. Basta equal ang byproduct or cross product sa means over its extremes. So with the problems posted a while ago on the previous slide, we can solve for Winnie the Pooh's head on smaller scale by using the concept on proportion. So to solve, we write the ratio of the bigger scale against the ratio of the smaller scale. Kita mo sa picture ganina, tunda ko nga picture, gamay nga picture ni Winnie the Pooh. So, ang involved nga variables there is the length of the body of Winnie the Pooh over its measurement of its head. So, ang bigger scale is ang head over the height. Pwede rin gihapon siya height over the head. That is reversible. Then it is equated to the smaller scale of its head over height. So again, pwede ra ang ibabaw ang height over head ang ubos is equal to height over head. So dili pwede ma-interchange siya. Kung unsay nakasuwat sa ibabaw or numerator, mao sa na iyang kaatbang pod nga numerator. So dili pwede mag-interchange. Okay. When you interchange that one, dili ma-establish ang gitawag nga proportion. Okay? So to continue, solving for x, we plug in the given on the previous slide, wherein 15 is the width of the picture, ang head ni Winnie the Pooh sa bigger scale, over 30 centimeters ang length sa body ni Winnie the Pooh sa bigger scale is equal to x over 20. X is the width or the measurement of the head of Winnie the Pooh on a smaller scale over its 20 centimeters, the length of the body of Winnie the Pooh on a smaller scale. So, we have two ratios, and we are trying to establish the equality of these two ratios, which we call proportion. So, gyosa siya pag-equal. Okay, we make use of cross multiplication. A times D is equal to B times C. So what we did here, nag-una sa left side ang 30x. So gimultiply na to ang B times sa C. So 30 times x is 30x. Then ang 15 times 20, which is A times B. So, sir, question. Pwede mag-una multiply, sir, ang A times D nga ibutang sa left side? Yes, pwede gyapon na siya. 15 times 20 is equal to 30 times x. So there's no problem with that idea. But then again, I would like to emphasize nga ang mga given sa numerator o denominator dili pwede ma-interchange sa pikas numerator o denominator. Dapat pareha gina sila og placement of its following variables. So 30x is equals to 15 times 20. So what is 15 times 20? That is exactly 300 equal to 30x. Gicopy ran 30x, nothing changed man. So to solve for x, we divide 30 both sides. Divide 30, divide 30. So what is x? X is 10. Nganong 10? Okay, 300 divided by 30 is 10. So therefore, usay gi-represent sa 10. 10 refers to the width of Winnie the Pooh's head on a smaller scale. 10 centimeters ang width sa head ni Winnie the Pooh on a smaller scale. So, if imo ni i-plug in ang 10 nga to sa x, ma-equal na sila. Why? 15 over 30 can be reducible to 1/2, while 10 over 20 is also reducible to 1/2. So, if 1/2 is equal to 1/2, then, therefore, ang proportion na establish. Because proportion again refers to the equality of two ratios. Okay, so 1/2 is equal to 1/2. Okay, so to give more ideas of this topic on proportion, we'll have these two short activities. The first activity, we shall study the examples below in order to justify if the given ratios form a proportion or not. Okay. We have given on the first column, followed by the second column if it is proportion or not. Then our justification on the third column. First item, 5 over 7 is equal to 10 over 15. How do we know if this is a proportion or not? It is not a proportion. Question, ngano dili siya proportion? So, to justify if it's proportion or not, so we have this explanation. So using the cross product, cross multiplication, 5 times 15 is equal to 7 times 10. So 5 times 15 is equal to 7 times 10. Pwede rin po siya 7 times 10 equals to 5 times 15. Again, reversible raha. So what is 5 times 15? That is 75. 7 times 10, 70. Are the two given numbers on left and right side are equal? Obviously, they are not equal. So therefore, this given proportion is not a proportion. The second given, 5 over 7 is equal to 10 over 15. Why is it? So to continue with our second example on the first activity, that should be 5 over 6 equal to 15 over 18. Is this proportion or not? So the decision is it is a proportion. So justification on this example. Why? Okay, we have there. We cross multiply first 5 and 18, then followed by 6 and 15. So 5 times 18 is equal to 6 times 15. 5 times 18 is 90, while 6 times 15 is also 90. So therefore, the two cross product are both equal. So therefore, this two ratios is representing proportion. With our second activity, we shall find the missing term in each proportion. Okay, first, we have x over 7 is equal to 9 over 21. We apply cross product, cross multiplication, no? Cross product or cross multiplication, the process itself. X times 21 is 21x. 7 times 9 is 7 times 9. 7 times 9 is 63, equal to 21x. So to solve for x, we divide 21 on the left side and divide 21 on the right side. So x is equal to 3. Ganun 3? Kasi 63 divided by 21 is 3. Second example, 4 over x is equal to x over 16. Diyon na multiply ang x times x. Munang x square. So ito siya, ganun x square? Because when we multiply variables of the same term or same letter, we add exponent, no? Product of two terms. We add exponent. Then 4 times 16 na yun. So, ngunang square root siya. Because the only way to solve for the value of x is to extract the root. So, square root of x squared is equal to the square root of 64. And 64, 4 times 16 is 64. So, what is the square root of 64? That is 8. Okay, square root of x squared is x. Okay, ibaw mo nga, ang index dere is imaginary 2. Mo cancel siya sa exponent 2 of the base x. So, since 64 is a perfect square, the root there is 8. Then, the third one, we have the proportion x over x minus 7 is equal to 2 over 3. So, first, we multiply x times 3. Munang 3x. Pwede ra gyapon mag-una ang x minus 7 times 2. There's no problem with that. But on my case, I first cross multiply x and 3. So, 3x. Then, 2 times x minus 7. Giuna na ko ang monomial 2 before gibutang or gisuwat na ko ang binomial x minus 7. Okay, para dili siya libog inig distribute kay imo mo i-multiply ang 2 nga to sa binomial x minus 7. So we bring down 3x. Then 2 times binomial x minus 7 mo nang purpose nga nag-una ang monomial nga 2 before sa binomial x minus 7. So 2 times x, 2x. 2 times negative 7, negative 14. Then groupings of the same terms, no? Ang na ix. So ang positive 2x iniglabang padong sa left side minus 2x. Nganong gilabang nako ang 2x, sir? Kay ang pinakadako nga coefficient sa x naa sa left side, which is 3. So ang ruling there is ang gamay nga coefficient sa kanang variable ato siya ilabang. Iipon. So 3x minus 2x is equal to 1x or simply x. Then, wala pasabot nga pagbalhin sa 2x ang minus nga operation mawag ng y because our minus nga operation is also the sign of the next number. So, that will be read as negative 14. Dili siya minus 14. The symbol there nga minus becomes already the sign of the next number. So, it becomes negative 14. So, if there is an example there nga wala na ka mga wala ninyo ma-view dinhi naara siya sa module. When the given is tulo ka ratio, tulo ka set of ratio. Okay? So, to explain us further more of the different properties of the proportion, we have the following discussion on the following slides. So we have there the fundamental rule of proportion. Okay, proportion mo siya dora ka ratio, but sometimes these two ratios are being expanded. So depende siya sa property involved. So we have here two columns. The left column is talking about the properties of proportion, while the second column talks about the example or the examples with the following solutions and explanation. So first property is the cross multiplication property. If w over x is equal to y over z, then wz is equal to xy. Simple siya nga cross multiplication. W times z is wz. X times y is xy. So example, if 10 over 2 is equal to 20 over 4, then 10 times 4 is equal to 2 times 20, such that 40 is equal to 40. Nga naman, 10 times 4 is 40. 2 times 20 is 40. So, moron siya ang explanation sa cross multiplication property. The second property is alternation property. Kung saan siya alternation property, sir? Okay, it states that if w over x is equal to y over z, then w over y is equal to x over z. So, kung may nabantayan ninyo ani. Okay. Nag-atbang ang nagparis ang w o ang y. Puro numerator ang nakasuwat sa left side sa proportion. Ang nakasuwat sa right side is ang puro niya denominator x o z. So, example. If 10 over 2 is equal to 20 over 4, then ang duha ka numerator 10 over 20 is equal to duha ka denominator 2 over 4. How come they are equal? Okay, they're equal in the sense nga 1/2 is equal to 1/2. Why? Pag-reduce na sa 10 over 20, that is 1/2. Pag-reduce sa 2 over 4, that is still 1/2. The third property is addition property. If w over x is equal to y over z, then w plus x, so ang numerator giadan sa denominator over sa denominator is equal to y plus z. Same gyapon, ang numerator y plusan sa denominator nga z over denominator nga z. So, an example, if 10 over 20, if nakabantay mo, parehara sila og mga proportion nga symbolism, parehara pod sila og given sa duha ka ratio 10 over 2 ug 20 over 4 as given on the example para dili kay tantong libog. So if 10 over 20 is equal to 20 over 4, then ito numerator 10 plus denominator 2 over denominator 2 is equal to numerator 20 plus denominator 4 over denominator 4, such that 6 is equal to 6. Nga naman, kay 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 divided by 2, 6. 20 plus 4 is 24. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So, simple as that. Diba sa yun, Ro? Okay. The fourth property of fundamental rule of proportion is subtraction property. So, same with addition property, minus ra ang numerator over the denominator. Okay, w minus x over x is equals to y minus z over z. So, sa example, if 10 over 2 is equal to 20 over 4, then 10 minus 2 over 2 is equal to 20 minus 4 over 4. Yun sa na siya. Y is 4 equal to 4. Nga naman, kay 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 20 minus 4 is 16. 16 divided by 4 is 4. O, diba? Simple ra. Okay, the fifth property is the sum property of the original proportion. Kung sa din siya, lain na po niya siyang addition. Diba? Ganina na yung addition property. Kani. Sum property of the original proportion. It states, if the first four properties involves only proportion, kani siya more than one proportion na siya kay tulo naman ni ka-ratio. If u over v is equal to w over x is equal to y over z, then gipang-add ang tulo ka numerator, u plus w plus y, over gi-add ang tulo ka denominator, v plus x plus z, is equal to k. If the sum of the three numerators over the sum of the three denominators of the three ratios are equal, or is equal to k, because k there stands for the constant of proportionality. If mapariha gani, so therefore ma-establish ang fundamental rule of proportion. Kana if ang given mo satisfy siya sa kaninga property. Okay. If 10 over 2 is equal to 15 over 3 is equal to 30 over 6, then 10 plus 15 plus 30 over 2 plus 3 plus 6 is equal to k. Would they be the same? Okay. Such that ang numerator is 55 over denominator 11. 55 divided by 11 is equal to 5. Okay. So the constant of proportionality there is k equal to 5. Are the examples clear enough to illustrate the properties of proportion? Nasabtan na ba? So if yes, you can now proceed in studying a few examples on word problems involving proportion. So are we now ready for the next discussion? Okay. So we have the following application problems. First problem states that a car traveled 45 miles on 2 gallons of gasoline. How far can it travel on 6 gallons of gasoline? Solution. So first is to identify the given. So the given are the following. We have 45 miles for 2 gallons and x miles for 6 gallons. So pila ka miles ang ma-travel using 6 gallons. So the second one is to formulate the number sentence and solve the following missing term. So we have already established the two given ratio, 45 miles over 2 gallons is equal to x miles over 6 gallons. So 45 over 2 is equal to x over 6. So dapat magkaparihag yun ang content sa numerator. Ang i-represent sa 45 o ang i-represent sa x is the number of miles covered or the distance covered, while the denominator 2 and 6 is representing the number of gallons that is used up while traveling on the road. So next thing we do is to cross multiply. So 2 times x, go na ko multiply and 2 times x written on the left side is equal to 6 times 45. So what is 6 times 45? That is 270 equal to 2x. Then divided by 2 both sides. Kikibaw ang kung say number tapad sa variable x mo o ang number i-divide on both sides. So x there is 135. So unsab ning 135, sir? That represents to the distance covered using 6 gallons of gasoline. So the 6 gallons of gasoline can cover for about 135 miles in distance. Okay? The second problem states that mommy wants to divide a box containing 50 disposable face masks for her, for daddy, and their son, me, in a ratio of 3:5:2. So how many face masks shall each receive? for mommy, for daddy, and for their son or daughter. Solution. First is to identify the given. Sa mga given, sir. So there are 50 disposable mass to be divided in a ratio of 3:5:2. So unsa man yung 3:5:2, sir? Mao na siya ang gidaghanon sa pagbahin sa 50 ka mass. Pero dili gina siya nga 3 ka mass, 5 ka mass, ug 2 ka mass, ha. Ang proportionality na siya ang ipasabot. Next is to formulate the number sentence and solve. So how do we solve? So ang pag-represent sa ratio nga 3:5:2 can be represented by 3x:5x:2x equal to 50, because the variable x represents the actual number of face mask nga pwedeng i-distribute ngadto sa tulo ka members sa family. Missing pa man kung pila gid ang general nga number of face mask nga pwede i-distribute sa kada sa tulo ka members sa family. Ratio. More siya 1/3 plus 1/5 plus 1/2 is equal to 50. So we have there 3x plus 5x plus 2x is equal to 50. So 3 plus 5 plus 2 is 10. 10x is equal to 50. So obviously divided by 10 both sides. Therefore x is 5. So if x is 5, then each shall receive 15 masks for mommy, 25 masks for daddy, and 10 masks for son. Nga naman. So maning 15, sir, 25, manong 10. So din gikuha ang 15. When x is 5, so for mommy, the ratio there is 1/3, no? So what is 1/3 of 50? That is exactly 15. Then 5 for daddy. 5 is not exactly 5, you know, but 1/5. So what is 1/5? 1/5 na siya, o 1/5 lagi. So 5 times x is 5 times 5, 25. Then dito siya 1/5. 3 over x, 5 over x, 2 over x na siya. So 2, ang pinakagamay nga bahin kay ang anak. So 2 times 5 is 10 ragyod. So there are only 10 masks intended for the son, 25 masks for daddy, and 15 masks for mommy. Okay? So for the activity on what's more, found on page 4, we have the following given. Test A, items 1, 2, and 3. Find the missing term in each proportion. Test B, complete the following statements and indicate the property used for items 4, 5, and 6. So dili lang kayang blanco lang ang ansira, no, filinan, kundi indicate sa unsa nga property ang gigamit, if it is addition property, subtraction property, sum property, cross multiplication property, or alternation property. And the last is letter C, analyze and solve the given two word problems involving proportion. So next is lesson number 2. Lesson 2 talks about similarity of figures. So there are two children talking to each other, exchanging thoughts. And the thing that they are talking is the similarity. O sabi na siya. Okay, they are trying to compare two pencils and two geometric figures. So which of these are similar and which of these are congruent? So for letter A, there are two pencils, the longer pencil and the shorter pencil. For letter B, there are two geometric figures. If you would like to compare it, more siya ka ng na turn upside down ng usan, no? For more or less papareha sila o dagway. So the second thought of the boy is this one. Matud pa niya nga ando ka pencil, they are similar. Pero they're not congruent. So pasabot ka nung gi-x kaniya ang congruent. So if you will try to recall on your grade 8 nga lessons on congruency of triangles, so karon sa ta magtawag og when two triangles are congruent kanos ara. So ma-justify ra na siya later. Then the second object ang geometric figure dito kaingon ng quadrilateral siya. This is another type of geometric figure. Matud pa niya under similarity check, congruency check sad. Ngano ka ha? So do you have the same answer that these two guys have in mind, or is it the other way around? What are the things that we need to consider before we could really say that figures are similar to each other or not? So what is it? Figures are said to be congruent if they have the same shape and same size. Congruent sila kung pareho sila og shape og pareho lag size. Ganina sa gipakita. Katong duha ka pencil, do they have the same shape? Same slag shape no kay lapis pareho sa lapis. But do they have the same size? Dili. How about the katong ikaduha nga object? Geometric figure, do they have the same shape? Do they have? Pero para pareha sila no, na turn upside down na usa. Do they have the same size? Mura-mura sad. Okay. Figures are said to be similar if they have the same shape but proportion in size. Unsa man ning similar, sir? Similar sila, they have the same shape. Katong lapis, pareha sa shape. But, ang nagidakon, dili parehan no. Pero, they might be proportional. Okay. For us to identify if figures are similar, we take into consideration that their corresponding angles must be congruent. Kung similar sila, dapat ilang angles congruent. When you say congruent, pareha gyud no ang measurement. Kung 45 degrees, ang pikas pod nga angle should be 45 degrees. And the ratios of the lengths of their corresponding sides are equal. Ratio sa length. So, nagtalk tag proportion. So, dili gyud exactly the same good ang gitas-on, but at least they are in proportion. So, this common ratio is called scale factor. Later, we will try to adapt unsa dyan scale factor when we solve the following problems involving similar figures. The symbol kani siya nga murag wave is used to indicate similarity. Which is similarity, dili gid exactly the same gid no. It is different with congruency. When you say congruency, ang equality is being established, but when you say similarity, more or less, almost the same. Okay, the term there is almost the same. While this one, equal nga symbol nga naay wave nga symbol stands for congruence. And the symbol double-headed arrow stands for correspondence. So, asa na ito makita ang similarity nga symbol, congruence nga symbol, o ang correspondence nga symbol. To illustrate the said symbols and conditions for figures to be called similar, we shall study these few examples. So we have two triangles on the left side, the bigger triangle and the smaller triangle. The bigger triangle is named as triangle ABC, while the small triangle is named as triangle DEF. So we are trying to establish the similarity of these two triangles. So for our conceptualization, we are trying to establish that triangle ABC is similar, o darang symbol. The triangle ABC, dili makita nimo ang word na triangle ha, but it is represented by the symbol triangle. So we read this one as triangle ABC, similar with triangle DEF. How come they are similar? So we read that one as triangle ABC, similar to triangle DEF. And another thing is to establish that triangle ABC corresponds the symbol, double-headed arrow, is representing correspondence. Corresponds with triangle DEF. Okay. So, kanos ara nga ma-establish ang similarity o correspondence. AB corresponds with DE. Asam ng AB? The left side corresponds with DE. Then AC, the right side, right leg, corresponds with the right leg of the smaller triangle DF. And BC is the base of the bigger triangle, corresponds with the base of the smaller triangle EF. Such that AB over DE, ratio na. So, the left leg over the left leg of the smaller triangle is equal to AC, right leg of the bigger triangle over DF, DF, right leg of the smaller triangle is equal to BC over EF, the base of the bigger triangle over the base of the smaller triangle. Correspondence of the two sides of the bigger and the smaller triangle. Corresponding sides are proportional. So if the corresponding sides are proportional, so they're not equal, no, kaya di mo sa pareho o gitas on, but they are proportional, such that angle A corresponds with angle D, angle B corresponds with angle E. Kita mo, angle A o angle D usara ka guhit, no, sa pag-drawing. That would mean that the two angles are the same. While angle B duha ka guhit o angle E duha ka guhit. Angle B corresponds with angle E at the same time that the two angles being related are of the same angle measurement. While the last one, angle C, corresponds with angle F. So, tulo ka guhit, bantay mo, then angle F duha ka guhit. Supposed to be tulogin ni siya, nakuha na siya, butang nako. So, the three pairs of angles of the bigger and the small triangle are congruent with each other. So the corresponding angles are congruent. So angle A is congruent with angle D, angle B is congruent with angle E, while angle C is congruent with angle F. When we say congruent, they are equal. So we have to take note that corresponding angles of similar figures are congruent, such that angle A is congruent with angle D, angle B is congruent with angle E, and angle C is congruent with angle F. Ang ilahang angles radi ay ang pareha gyud og measurement, except with its measurement of the sides. Nga naman, the sides of the two triangles are proportional to each other. Sides are proportional, angles are congruent. Okay, samo na siya. Bataw sa mga takings. The angles are congruent, but the sides are proportional. Sampling time. Okay, for our activity on lesson number 2, this one, ang atong siran for the example. So we have triangle ABC, similar with triangle DEF. So bigger triangle ABC, is it similar with triangle DEF? With the given following 60 degrees. So kabawta nga angle A is congruent with angle D, angle B congruent with angle E, and angle C congruent with angle F. Then the sides correspondence, side AB corresponds with side DE, side AC corresponds with side DF, side BC corresponds with side EF. So ang ilang mga given ato ang ipangatbang. To clearly visualize the concept on similar triangles, because this is a figure, no, these are figures, and specifically they are triangles. So how do we establish similarity on triangles? Let's study a few examples in order to understand and apply this in our example. So to solve for the missing sides, Since triangle ABC is similar with triangle DEF, then we could establish that three pairs of the three pairs of each side of the two triangles are in proportion such that side AB corresponds with side DE. So ang kanang division nga symbol mo na siya ang alternative sa itong symbol nga marag wave, no, corresponds. So ratio siya. So ang pagbasa ni side AB corresponds with side DE is equal to side BC. Okay, ang base BC corresponds with side EF is equal to side AC corresponds with side DF. Solving it separately using proportion, we can get the value of y and x. So first thing we solve is to solve for y nga. Di man pwede gamiton ang tulo ka ratio. Dapat when we solve proportion, kay doon na may process sa cross multiplication, dapat duha ka ratio ang gamiton. So for this, we shall solve first for the value of y, which is found on the first and the second nga ratio. So AB over DE is equal to BC over EF. Then what to do next? We substitute or plug in the value of AB, which side AB which is 4 over side DE which is 2 is equal to side BC represented by y over side EF represented by 4. So with this proportion, usaray missing variable that is y. I-multiply na kung 2 times y, that is 2y. 4 times 4, 16. Okay, 4 times 4, 16 man. Then solve for y, divide 2 both sides. 2y divided by 2 is y. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So our value of y ni siya, dili ni siya x ha, sorry. So again, this is value of y, dili siya x, sorry. Technical error lang. So y is equal to 8. How about to solve for x? To solve for x, we shall make use of the second and third ratio. The second and third ratio is comprised of, with this, gigamit dito ang first o third ratio. Ganina, first and second ratio. Pero pwede gapon gamiton ang second o third ha. Masolve man gyapon na. But in this case, I made use of the first ratio, AB over DE, is equal to the third ratio, AC over DF. But then again, pwede jud gamiton ang second ratio is equal to the third ratio. Kaya na naman tayo value sa y. Okay? So, plug in the values of AB, which is 4, over DE, which is 2. Then AC is 6 din, may 6. Nani siya 6 diri. Nalimtan na suwat. Then DF is X. DF is X. So next thing is to cross multiply. 4 times X is 4X. 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, you have there side AC is 6. Then side DF is X. So cross multiply 4 times X is 4X. 4X, 2 times 6 is 12. To solve for X, divide 4 both sides. 4X divided by 4 is X. 12 divided by 4 is 3. To solve for the missing angles, again, the angles are all congruent, no? Corresponding angles are congruent. Since triangle ABC is similar with triangle DEF, then angle A corresponds with angle D, and they are congruent. Angle B corresponds with angle E, and they are congruent. Angle C corresponds with angle F, and they are congruent. Therefore, okay, angle A, which is 60 degrees, is congruent with angle T, which is also 60 degrees. Angle B is congruent with angle E. Then, therefore, angle E should also be 75 degrees. Angle C is congruent with the angle F, which is 45. Yung sa pagsubang 45 degrees, sir. We have to remember that the sum of the interior angles of triangle ABC is equal to 180. So 180 in minusan of 60, minusan of 75, the remaining angle is 45 degrees. So therefore, if ang angle C is 45 degrees, therefore angle F should also be 45 degrees if the two angles corresponds to each other and the two angles are congruent to each other. Okay? Nara ka sa iyo. Hopefully, you have nakagets sa tanan sa explanation. Hope this had helped you to understand learning this module. Number 4. So for activity on what's more, found on page 7, you will answer items 1 and 2, show your complete solution on the piece of paper, one whole sheet of paper. So once again, thank you for listening. Hope this have helped you understanding the module. Once again, this is Sir Ian Legaspino as your mathematics teacher. For any inquiries, clarification, justification, you can message me on Facebook on our group chat. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone.